So you're probably thinking that in order to change your goals and meet your goals, you need motivation. You need to listen to as much motivational courses and people, and that will get you far. Well, if that was the case, most of the world would be motivated. You're probably also thinking that you need a bit of willpower, and willpower will get you far. But that's also not the case. Let's just do definitions first, and then we'll talk about why discipline is the only formula to being successful and building the life you want. Motivation, by definition, is a reason for acting or behaving in a particular way. So you have to have a reason to do what you're doing. Willpower is the control to basically do something or refrain from the impulse to do something. Again, you need to control yourself in order to do something. Both of them do not get anyone further than a week. And I'm going to explain why discipline is the only formula to being successful. Most of my adult life, I was an overweight individual. Okay, I'm going to put a little insert as to how overweight I was, but I was an overweight individual. And there was nothing I could do in terms of motivation and willpower that would get me any further. I was overweight, I struggled to eat correctly, I had a lot of brain fog, and I was tired of, one, aesthetically not looking great, two, having so many health issues, and three, realizing that if I carried on the way I was, my trajectory of life was going to be ever so different. And that's not what I wanted for myself. So I started to dig really deep, and I discovered that discipline was the only formula. I'm going to explain why in a very simple concept. Discipline as a terminology is basically the practice of training people to obey rules and codes of behavior using punishment or correct disobedience. Okay, now I'm going to break this down as to why this actually works and why discipline is the only formula. Let's start with two concepts, okay? I want to lose weight. Most people, January has come and January is gone, and February, the gyms are slowly getting less. Thank you, Lord. But there are people also that says, I want to change my job. I want another job. Now that's a reason, right? You just want to lose weight, you want to look slimmer, and you want another job, maybe because you want income. That's just reasons, right? But the issue here is that there is no statement or negativity in that statement. And that's why most people tend to not understand why they're not getting to their goal. The first thing you have to understand is, what is your reason, okay? So if your reason is I want to lose weight, that's just I want to lose weight. There's no aspect of negativity to that. I want another job. There's no aspect of negativity to that job. Let's talk about the impact of reverse goals. So I talked about the idea of I want to lose weight versus I want another job. But the idea is that you've just created a goal. That's just the goal. That's the end goal. But you have not created what the actual negative way or the negative impact would be if you do not attain that goal. So let's flip it a little bit more and say, I want to lose weight because I hate how it makes me feel or the impact it has on my health. The fact that we've said this is my goal, and then we've added what an actual impact it is on our health or what impact it is on our lives, we've now got a negative connotation to that. And that's now getting into the reason why we need discipline in order to attack that negative aspect. In the case of the job, you can say, I want to quit my job because it's no longer fulfilling my creative spirit or knowledge or growth, or it's not financially paying the bills. Again, you've now created the goal, but you've now explained the negative aspect of why that goal even exists in the first place. Now let's go on to the idea of discipline and training, and why the answer to most of people's problem is actually in the negative aspect of it. And if you flip that and mix that, remix it, recipe it with discipline, you are halfway there. So now let's talk about how discipline actually helps us get to our goal. Now the goal is, in this case, when it comes to losing weight, I want to lose weight. That is the goal. But then when you say, because I hate how it makes me feel or the impact it has on my health, that is the why, okay? But the discipline is not in there. We now have the idea of why we want to actually lose weight, but we don't have the discipline. And then this is where actually we now need to look at that sentence again and say, this is how we get disciplined. So I'm going to flip it, and it says, the discipline aspect is, if I continue to eat unhealthy meals or not work out or use my car for small runs, I will either remain at my current goal or I will gain more weight. And that is the discipline. That is where we now realize, actually, I've got a goal. I know why I want to meet that goal, but this is the things that I need to do, discipline, the training I need to go through in order to actually attain that goal. In the case of the goal now, for the quitting of the job, I want to quit my job is the goal. But the actual reason why you want to do that is because it no longer fulfills my creative spirit, knowledge growth, or financially does not pay. Where is the discipline? Now, in order to add discipline into that, you would say, if I continue to stay at my job, not learn a new skill or not apply for new jobs, I will either remain at my current job, risk the idea of being made redundant in the future, or continue to be unfulfilled. The discipline is in the change. The discipline is training yourself to actually come out of your misery or your pain or your problem, which is basically why you want to actually attain the goal, and then the goal. Nobody focuses on the discipline. And that's how I changed the trajectory of my life when it came to weight loss, for example. I was like, I want to lose weight, but then I actually said, why? The reason why I want to lose weight is because I want to be healthier. I want to be able to run faster. I want to be able to look better. I also don't want to pay hefty healthcare bills in my late age. But then I said, okay, that's good, that's fine. You've got a goal, you've got a reason why, but where's the discipline in that? Because if I take that, there's nothing I can do with that will actually change the way I am. The change comes in the discipline. And I had to say to myself, actually, if I continue eating the way, I had to look at my life and say, if I continue eating the way I eat, if I don't go to the gym often, if I, don't take time to walk out, ever so often out of work, and if I continue to maybe drink the way I drink or eat the way I eat, I will remain at my current goal or I will put on more weight. And that answer there was my discipline. And that's where I had to train myself to mentally change the way in which I thought. A lot of people don't get this. A lot of people think it's just the goal. The goal is it's a target. That's got nothing to do with the journey. And discipline is the journey. Discipline trains your body that is very resistant to change where you are. And this comes on to my fourth point about retraining your mental thought through discipline. Mentally having to train yourself means that you now know what you need. You now know the disciplinaries you need in order to basically come out of your current situation to attain your goal. And this is where people fall short, is that they're mentally not ready to change their mindset. Mindset is absolutely key. If you look at the world we are in, you look at all the wars that have started, they have not started necessarily by force, but they have started by changing the mentality and the mindset of people to then decide to then go to war. Everything starts with the mind. Everything is triggered from the mind. If you cannot train your mind, you can't train it to think differently, you'll never be able to attain any goal, even the most simplistic of goals. And when I started realizing that my mind was my biggest asset to get into anything that I wanted to achieve, I started to think differently. And that's when I realized that motivation comes and goes. It's a reason, it's a rationale. Willpower will come and go. Discipline is an art of training yourself to think differently. And when I realized that, I trained myself for years on years to basically improve into the gym. I then changed the way in which I ate. And for the past couple of years, I have never felt so much more better physically, mentally, in terms of how I feel in my physicality. I hope this really helps you understand why discipline is the only formula to success. Willpower will come and go. Your motivation will also come and go. And if you don't think that willpower and motivation are not the key, and actually the key is discipline, have you ever tried to attain a goal and then literally something happens in life? Unfortunately, there's a passing in the family, maybe you had a really bad day, and that just throws you off. Most time, that's throwing off motivation and willpower. It's not throwing off discipline, because discipline, given, depending on the situation, will most likely overlook that and be like, you know what? Yes, that's the situation I'm in. I'm going to deal with that, but I still need to schedule time to attain these type of goals. Now, nothing wrong in taking breaks when you're trying to attain a goal, but the discipline aspect of you needs to really consider, how am I training myself to resist what feels easy, but what is actually harder gets me to a better goal. I hope that really explained why discipline is the only formula to any form of success, be it business success, be it relationship. You've got to be disciplined. You've got to continuously train your mind to do things that it doesn't want to do in order to be successful. Once you get into an element of training, which can take several weeks and several months, even sometimes several years, you will start to achieve things naturally. Things will start to come to you naturally. But in the first aspect, the learning curve, that, you know, there's an uphill climb to actually become very disciplined. But once you get it, you actually get it. Hope that's really helpful. I hope you guys can try out discipline. I hope you guys can think about what things you actually want to implement as a disciplinary act for your goals. And I hope that you attain your goals in 2025. Speak to you soon. Take care. Bye now.